I tell y'all what's on my mind? Can I get a couple of things off my chest?
It got me feeling. I ain't even gonna lie. This drink that up and got me hanging on the sky. I can't leave drink alone. It got me feeling. Feeling good. This drink that up and got me been on it. What's up? What's up? It's your brother, your cousin, your uncle, your nephew, your friend, but I can't be your son. It's your kinfolk, William Jewell. Well, giving you my detail as I articulate. This is articulating. Rap, rap, rap. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and turn all the notifications on so you can get all of the new content when I post it. I just came here to articulate and give you my lens of hip hop from a telescopic and microscopic view, from far away and up close, right? Because certain things need to be looked at, right? And when we talk about a wide angle and a close angle, right, that goes into the segment that we need to start with. Because, ladies and gentlemen, Kendrick Lamar and SZA has just dropped a music video to Luther. Now this happened on Friday, and this was anticipated. But when we look at the pictures they were showing, that was a music video. They were outside at a gas station. In this video, they were not outside. This video, they were in the studio. They were at the West Blanche Hotel in LA. And maybe I'm saying it wrong, but they were at a hotel in LA. And then of course some of it was, around the same places where he was shooting the teaser. Seemed like where he shot the teaser for the GNX. So, um, yeah, we got that. And a lot of people are really trying to dissect it. A lot of people are really trying to figure out what Kendrick Lamar is trying to say through this music video. But I think the point is simple. I think if you look too hard, the point might go over your head. And it's really all about black love, right? And just love in general, because when we think about the sample to Luther Vandross and Cheryl Lynn and this world, this world is mine. You know what I'm saying? So we think about that love song, we think about that beautiful melody, and we go back into this video and see two lovers really into each other, really, eye to eye, really giving each other that energy, that vibe. Like, when do you see that? You don't really see that in the world anymore. You don't really see the handcuffing. You don't really see a lot of lovey dovey stuff, because you know everybody's doing something behind somebody's back, and nobody knows, and nobody trusts, and nobody feels like anyone is worthy of their time, and no one is worthy of their affection. But in this video, we weren't thinking about the toxicity. We weren't thinking about the trust issues. We were thinking about lovers. Just being lovers, not worried about who's on each other's DM and social media, not worried about, are they looking at someone else that's behind me that I can't see. We wasn't worried about lovers, like thinking about lovers doing something behind their backs. We were just thinking about lovers intimately in love, and really giving each other their attention. And one of my favorite shots is when the leading lady was going down the elevator, and as she was going down the elevator, on the side of her face, right, you could see on the side of her face, it was a shot of Kendrick Lamar, right, where her face blurred out, and then you could see his face, and then he looked, right, and then he looked back, and then he put his head down. And then he looked again and they both made eye contact. Like that was some of the most authentic, realistic, like type of energy thing that you could have put in that video. Because at the end of the day, like how many times have us as men like, is she looking at us? We gonna look away. We're gonna look down. Oh, she is looking at us. Like, and so that really, you know what I'm saying? That really triggered something in me or struck a nerve in me, and not on a negative way, but just made me think about how many times that's actually happened to me. Just, seeing a woman, right? And noticing that a woman's like getting you're getting her attention, like without getting her attention. Like you walk in, you think somebody's looking at you, you look away and you kind of look down, and is she looking? Oh, she is. Like I think that was a very cool illustration of that, and a beautiful moment. And of course, we got to give SZA credit, right? We got to give SZA credit. Her spunk, her pizzazz, her moxie, and just her sexiness, because the Kendrick Lamar's leading lady, she was fully clothed. She wasn't showing too much. It was more focused on their eyes with each other, their energy intertwined with each other. But with SZA, it was more focused on the sexual side, and not that she really just showcased her body. I mean, obviously you could see her body through some of her clothes, but it was more sensual, more touching, more feeling. Nothing raunchy, but it was definitely a sexual innuendos. When she knocked on that door and pushed that man in there and said go, and they was just rubbing on each other's back and stuff like that in the black and white. So, uh, we got like two different parts of love, right? That love where you just want to rip each other's clothes off and really just be with each other physically. And then we got that intimate love where it's more mental. It's just more like it's not even about the physical part. It's just y'all are just into each other, and that's the real love. But we're getting two sides of, what I'm saying, love, the sexual part and the mental and spiritual intimate part. And I think it's just a good illustration. And I mean, I said black love. The dude was a black dude. You know what I'm saying? Dude was a light skinned dude. You know what I'm saying? Didn't have a beard, buzz cut, slim guy. Probably modeled or something like that. Same thing with the lady. So I think it was a depiction and great captivation of black love, and the cinematic, the wide angles, the close ups. It really just kind of drove that point home. And I mean, at the end of the day, like, we can't act like we just really been into music videos like that. But at the same time, the fact that we are into the music videos that Drake and Kendrick are dropping, like, that speaks to hip hop. That speaks to I mean, it speaks to the masses. It speaks to a lot of people really trying to dial in and trying to decipher some of the hidden meanings and really decode, some of the things that we might not see on the first time. The illustrations, just the shots, the angles, or just whatever, you know, they're trying to push across as far as what they want the audience and the looker to really see. And I mean, at the end of the day, when we try to get it under that microscopic lens, and we could see that Drake and Kendrick have the attention of the masses like no other right now. Like, they've been having the attention since last year, and it's still powerful. The energy of them combining against each other is still formidable. It's still powerful, and just all the other music kind of gets silenced while these two giants kind of go back and forth, even if they're not battling like toe to toe like they once were directly, even through the subliminals, even through the videos, even through the pictures on Instagram, even through the extra days in Toronto on the GNX tour. You know what I'm saying? Even through the Canadian suit. He wore another Canadian suit in the video. Even through all these things, like these things have really captivated us. And when we look at the totality of it and everything that's going around in this world, we've just had the Trump elections, right? We just had like the tariffs. We've had all these things going on, and when we look at it from a microscopic lens, right? We're looking at the videos and trying to decode the videos, but when we're looking at it from far away and really see hip hop, inside of the box that a lot of people put it in, and we can see everything that's going on around it, then we can see that this battle, this back and forth between Drake and Kendrick has been distracting us a little bit, right? And I mean, music is to get away from those distractions. It's hard to like worry about what's going to happen in the stock. It's hard to worry about what's going to happen, with some businesses and your job with the AI. It's hard to worry about these things and, be in front of it every day. It might not make your mood great. It might not make your energy uplifting. It might suppress you. It might depress you. It might make you feel down. So we turn to music and the entertainment to give us a distraction. And, Kendrick Lamar and Drake are doing a good job at it. And I mean, did he really take any jabs at Drake? Oh, he used his director. And, people say this is a woman that's a woman all on her own. She's not just Drake's music director. She's directed plenty of music videos, Karina Evans. So I want to give her credit and credence and just uplift her as an individual. And yes, Kendrick Lamar could have used multiple people to do this, but he used her. So obviously, this does mean something, right? This is somewhat of a shot. So, I mean, and then also he did this right after the Nokia video dropped. And, it was rumors, it was being said that Nokia was definitely going to be number 2 this upcoming week on the Billboard, right? And we got to think that video enhanced it. But the fact that Kendrick kind of just dropped Luther, and I mean, nobody even is thinking about the Nokia video, that might kind of damper it again. So now that he's going on tour, I'm sure some of his songs going to shoot back up. We might even see another number 1 from Kendrick once he gets on tour, depending on if he drops another music video and just depending on like how the tour shapes up and, some of the things that's captured on camera that we're going to see on TikTok, that we're going to see on social media, that we're going to see. So I'm really excited to see that because we know Kendrick Lamar going to put on a show. We're just wondering like how he's going to do this tour. Stadiums, I just know it's going to be an elaborate set. I know it's going to be a well thought out design. I know it's going to be something different than he's done before. So I think Luther leading up into the first day of the GNX tour, right? That got to mean something. But man, let's get on to some new music. LARussell and Mike Keys make hip hop fun again. And I'm kind of tired of that saying, make something da 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 again. Make da 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 again. Make blank blank again. Like just stealing from that famous Trump phrase or phrase, stealing from that famous Trump phrase. I'm kind of tired of that. Right? So just naming that this album that to me that was lazy on LARussell's part. Right? This was lazy on LARussell's part. And I love the Rent Due. And LARussell is an incredible artist, but I'm gonna give him some criticism right now. Just because, it's warranted. And I didn't like the narration of the album. I feel like the narrator was trying to say that LaRussell and all these other guys that are bigging up independents already have money, come from rich families, and then they try to act oppressed. Like, to me, that just, okay, what's the point? Like, I didn't really get the message on what he was trying to say. I don't know if it was like a big joke, which I think it was a big joke. Uh, so it's just like weird. I don't know why he decided to go with that type of narration. Rent Due, it was smooth, silky, no real narration in it. But I think LaRussell could have kind of did a better job with these skits in between. I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it, and it didn't enhance the album or sound or anything. So it did take away from the album, right? But the album overall, it had some blappers, right? It had some blappers. So he's from the West Coast. They call them slappers. He had some bangers on there. He had some songs I really liked, some songs I really enjoyed. And when you talk about make hip hop fun again, this was a fun album, right? This was a fun album. He had features from T-Pain. He had features with Busta Rhymes. He had features with Snoop Dogg, Wiz Khalifa. That was one of my favorite joints from that album. Like, he had some good features, and it was just some good music, right? It definitely is one of the better albums that I've heard this year because, it's just good music. Nothing bad about it. Just quality overall. West Coast sound, obviously with Mike Keys, but I don't think it was too much West Coast to where it would turn you off if you're not that. You know what I'm saying? If that West Coast is an acquired taste for you, it's not too West Coast to where it could turn you off, but it's something to where this is definitely a easy listening, right? It's very palatable. Great production as well. Mike Keys, great production. It balanced the album. Nothing too crazy to where it made you give a stink face, but LaRussell, and what I like about him, he works with different producers, and I think that enhances his sound, and I think that gives him uh a good way to view his music and view what type of flows and what type of BPMs work best for him on different songs. And working with these different producers, I guess he can kind of point out to which type of production helps enhances him. So I think that's key. I think that's good. The lyrics were solid. It wasn't too lyrical, wasn't too crazy, nothing that you had to really like, you know what I'm saying, think about, but it was solid lyrics. And, it was just fun. Nothing really conceptual other than what this other guy was trying to say, but that the narration, it didn't work for me. And so we go to the other album. And before we go to the other album, let me go ahead and rate this. I'll rate this a 7, right? The 7 to me is this is a good album, but it's not great. Nothing about this album made me this is an album I'm gonna play in the gym, right? But nothing on this album made me be like, damn, like really took my breath away, really surprised me, really caught me off guard. But this next album, it did surprise me. It did take my breath away. It did kind of catch me off guard. And I want to give a salute to Deante Hitchcock. Right, Deante Hitchcock. He's been known. He's been dabbling in hip hop for a while now. He's not well known, maybe more underground, but he's done some things, right? And he's a credible artist. And he popped up on my music, and so I knew it was a new album. I want to listen to him. It's called this album. This album is called Good Things Take Time. And the album started out introspective, really like looking within, especially in that intro to Breakthrough, just looking within, look at all of his past accomplishments and failures and just trying to figure out his life and talking about the struggles that he had to go through, still staying with his music, still staying on top, trying to push through a breakthrough. And that's kind of how most of the songs were at the beginning, even though like the tempo picked up, it was a little bit more upbeat, it was a little bit more high energy. He had that Born Broke Die Rich, he had some songs like that that kind of gave you a good feeling, a good vibe to it, something that might ring out outside. Uh, and then he got a little bit more romantic with This Song's For You. Uh, Akeem Ali on that feature. He got a little bit more, lovey-dovey speaking to the women. And I respected it. So I liked the movement and the flow of the album because I didn't know he was going to go into this pocket. It kind of reminds me of JID when he did the Never Story, when you go into Hereditary and then you go into the other, love song. So he kind of picked the pocket to where he really wanted to talk to the people, talk to his main fan base, and then talk to the women, talk to the lovers, and then go back to where he could keep it solid and keep staying on his foundation. So I like how this album flowed. Very introspective, very high energy. Then, slowed it down a little bit, spoke to the ladies, spoke to the lovers, and then kind of picked it back up and got a little bit more serious when he finished off with Red Clay. So, I like this album. I just listened to it today. I'm going to be listening to it a little bit more, but this was definitely fresh. I hate to compare artists, but Deante Hitchcock, Nick Grant, Denzel Curry, these are the guys that kind of reminded me of themselves, right? And Deante Hitchcock, I'll say this. He gave me some singing. He gave me some melodic. He gave me some points where I didn't even know if he had a feature or that was him. But he gave me different vocals that showcase his ability. And like I said, those three guys, they kind of mirror each other to me. Like their voice is strong enough to where it like stands out and it's radiant, but like their flows, their cadences, similar to like Kendrick Lamar. But their flows, their cadences, and you know what I'm saying, their concepts and their ideology when creating an album, you know what I'm saying? I think those parts of them do stand out. So it's all about finding like the right gears and stuff like that. Because I feel like they're not JID, right? They're not JID, and I don't know why I say they're not JID, but JID just has a special quality about them that Deante Hitchcock, that Nick Grant, that Denzel Curry doesn't have to me. And we just need him to give us a couple hits, and then his legacy could be solidified, and then we could pass the torch to him. That's all we're missing from JID. With these newer artists, they just need to be heard. Like these newer artists, these are not the mainstream artists, but these are not the artists that's being pushed. And it was very refreshing to hear Deante Hitchcock. I really like the music, and I hate to compare him to other people in the middle of his album review, but he's not that known, so I just want to think about some names that are on that level similar to his, and they kind of remind me of each other, and it's all good music. But it's like sometimes this music is not discovered on the scale that it needs to be discovered at, so we can give hip hop the flowers that it deserves, because not all of these little babies, Dirks, the babies, you know what I'm saying, Roddy Riches, not all of these guys are the main guys that need to carry the torch of hip hop. We got some real hip hoppers. We got some real artists that really care about their craft. And I'm not saying that the baby, because he been rapping his ass off on freestyles lately. I'm not saying Dirk, because I love Dirk, but you see what situation he's in. I'm just naming those guys as guys that were once touted as the top guys in hip hop, and now they've kind of taken a step back, whether it's just been with popularity or their music getting redundant or just mistakes that they've made and that have halted and put some hazards in front of their road and their career. But man, the production didn't really stand out to me, but it went with his flow. It went with the direction of this album. So I mean, if I could offer Deante Hitchcock one thing, is just to get a little bit more, you know what I'm saying, deeper into that executive producing bag, that production, and really just, you know what I'm saying, give us a little bit more richer flavors, you know what I'm saying, richer tones. And I think that's kind of what it's missing. Obviously, this is not a big budget album, so I think that could be the reason why. But if he can figure out how to get those sounds without giving up an arm and a leg, then that would be ideal. And the lyrics, I mean, the lyrics is really what got my attention. I was listening to this in the gym, but I had to stop in between sets to see what he was really saying. And he was really talking some shit. Like, he's one of those guys lyrically. And he's those guys that we can look at in the future, or just look at in hip hop as a whole and say there are guys that don't get the credit they deserve, but there's actually guys that in hip hop that are doing their thing. And then he just showed versatility. Like I said, he showed flow. He showed me he could sing. He showed me that he could do, you know what I'm saying, more than one thing with his tones and his vocality. So, man, salute Deante Hitchcock. Now, uh, I don't know what else I should talk about, but I guess we gotta talk about Kyron Lacey because of the news. I'm a big football fan, and SEC football is one of my favorite football conferences. But RIP to Kyron Lacey. He was going to be a potential number one pick in this upcoming NFL draft. But in Louisiana, he was speeding and he basically killed somebody, and he hit and ran from the scene. It killed a 78-year-old veteran and it injured two other people. And we talk about the dude from Georgia, Jordan Davis. He was in the car and two people got killed while he was driving. We talk about Henry Ruggs. He was in Las Vegas drunk, speeding. He killed a lady. Like, we got to think about this thing, guys. We got to think about, like, being safe. We got to think about these horror stories. RIP to him. RIP to him. They say he committed suicide. It just came out today, so I don't want to say for sure if he committed suicide or nothing. But I just hate that he felt like he had to take that way out. I hate that he felt like that was the better way to go than to face the consequences and do what he need to do to get right. And whatever that get right is, at least he still had his life. At least he still has some time to do that. And nobody wants to go to jail. Nobody wants to go to prison. You're out, you're having fun. Then the next thing you know, it happens just like that. And it's crazy because I've experienced some things in my life where I'm out having fun, and then the next thing you know, boom, you find yourself in trouble. Trouble that you wasn't intending to be into. You're not even that type of guy. Like you never were a troublemaker. But it's something about the way that you're living your life, you know, outside of that trouble. It's something about the way that you're treating people outside of that trouble. It's because he was, man, he was doing some crazy stuff online, on TikTok, on social media. He was talking wild. Like, he didn't have a care for anything. And so, although he wasn't in trouble for anything before this point, like, you out and enjoying your life and things happen to you like this and things become a reality, and we kind of really got to look at ourselves. We got to examine ourselves as men. We got to examine ourselves as humans. And man, RIP. But it's your brother, your cousin, your uncle, your nephew, your friend, but I can't be a son that you can folk. William Jewell, giving you my detail as I articulate. This is articulating rap, rap, rap.